guest this morning is Openi Kwame Jantwa. He is a legal practitioner and a member of the CPP, and also Philip London Safohene is a member of the New Patriotic Party. Safohene, before we went on the break, we were talking about how Parliament has approved the 2023 budget. Do you think it was in the right direction, even though stakeholders are yet to be engaged?
First of all, I cannot say that stakeholders were not engaged at all. We've had some indications that some stakeholders felt they were not consulted enough or they were not engaged enough before the budget was presented. If that is the case, then that was not right. You must have enough stakeholder engagement. I mean, the process of submitting a budget is quite lengthy, providing enough time for stakeholder engagement. All the interested parties, the ministries, etc., government agencies, to actually bring in their own proposals to be factored in. So it's a consolidation of a lot of work. So if the budget has been submitted, presented, and now actually passed, and there are interested parties still saying that they were not engaged, then it's unfortunate, because that should not be the case. We must always have a situation where, it suggests inadequate preparation or inadequate planning, because if you prepared properly, then you should have engaged everybody. I mean, we had decided that we were going IMF. We took that decision several months ago. One would have expected that between that time and now, there's a lot of things that we would have done to ensure that when it came to the appointed time to present the budget, we would have been well placed to do so. But it appeared we were not. And we actually had to delay. And so if after the delay still there's this complaint, then it appears that there was some one or two shortcomings in the preparations towards the provision of the budget.
Okay. Opinion, the Deputy Finance Minister, John Ampuntia Kuma, yesterday has said in an interview with the Eyewitness that government is yet to meet some key stakeholders on its debt restructuring program. What's your take on this?
Who are the key stakeholders? What does he mean by meeting some key stakeholders? Who are they? Look, with this debt structuring, the best thing government could have done was to invite key stakeholders for discussion before they came out with anything. Key stakeholders being pension funds, mutual funds, insurance companies, individual companies that have bought government bonds.
Even the banks.
The banks are part. The banks have nearly 52-point-something% of government bonds. Sat with them, discussed with them, come out with a conclusive answer where everybody is part and parcel of it, because they would have to go and sell it to their customers. The unions part of it, major part of it. Then they come out. But if you realize this government, they have never tried to have discussions with stakeholders. Never. E-levy, typical example. But you know what really saddens me? What is the use of a government? The use of a government is to make sure that its people's lives are made easier, isn't it? How can a government come and tell us that you either take this proposal or you leave it, you're on your own? When, say, I have bought 5-year bond, 7-year bond, where I'm going to get some interest out of it, and due to your own mismanagement and recklessness of going out for loans and bonds, you have caused this, and you're telling me, I don't care. It's voluntary, yes, but it's to a point. If you don't take it, you're on your own. How can any government say that? Is this government position? Or is it the president and finance minister's position? or is it the finance minister's position? How? How do you tell pensioners who have bought some of these bonds that I don't care, you either take it or you leave it? But if you had sat with stakeholders, sat with economists, you know, I keep saying there are crack economists in this country, and ironed out. I even said, before we even went to IMF, that particular exercise should have been done, where everybody sat around the table. Because look, where we've gotten to, it's no chicken feed. Going in 2023, right up to 2030, living is going to be hard, difficult, challenging. And if you tell me that I should burden share, and I don't see that you are also burden sharing, and you're now putting all the responsibility on me, when you have been the primary cause of the situation we find ourselves in. Okay, take it that you indicate that there are foreign pressures too. Let's take, say, Ukraine war and COVID. But if you look at what is happening, has it got anything to do with Ukraine? Has it got anything to do with COVID? What has been the principal discussion? Isn't it bonds? Where did we get the bonds from? Did we not go and borrow? Did we not convince Ghanaians to invest in the bonds? So you convinced me to invest in the bonds, and now you have mishandled the bonds. You haven't handled the bonds properly, and you're telling me what? You won't help me. You won't be there for me. No. It's a challenging situation, and I believe that we should have been able to look at it in a way that Ghanaians can accept. Now, you say for individual bonds, it's not going to be touched. You say treasury bills is not going to be touched. But the ones that are going to be touched are the company ones. Now, there are some people who buy bonds in the names of the banks. Because you've got to be extremely rich to be an individual to buy a bond on your own. So you buy it in the name of the bank, in the name of the institution. The name of the institution is now going to get a cut because government can't pay the interest. So they're going to get a haircut. Now, if you say even individuals will not be affected, isn't it individuals who pay to the bank? Those who have put their money, they've got their pension, their mutual fund, are they not individuals? And are they not going to get a haircut on their interest? Are they not going to get a haircut on the primary interest if it's a company? Are they not? So what are you telling us? Because look, it's got to do with money in the pocket. That's the basic line. Money in the pocket. I put my money aside because I want some interest on it. Now you're telling me that interest I'm going to lose. And you come out with certain criteria with regards to how this is going to be done. So you say, for the first year with this new one, 2023, is a 0% coupon.
But it is going to be paid.
I'm not going to
later.
earn anything. First year. I'm not earning anything. Zero. 2023. 2024, I'll give you 5%. 2025, I'll give you 10% till maturity. Then there are some that are 2027, which is a 5-year bond, 2027, 2029, 2032. 17%, 17%, 25%, 41% long term for the 15 years bond. Look, so if I had invested it for these long durations, I expected to get quite a handsome amount of money. You are trimming all that off. And you tell me you are not interested in how I handle it. I should take it or leave it. That is very insensitive of government. But I believe if we were able to sit and discuss this, at least there will be some way where we can balance ourselves. Government gets what they want, the people get what they want. Look, when you look at the quantum of bonds, the banking sector holds 51.2%. Do you think they will take the cost. They'll pass it on. They have to pass it on. The non-banking sector, 32.7% of government bonds. The foreign sector, 16.0%. Standard loans, the loans you get from different banks, 2%. Insurance companies, 0.6%. Finance companies and SNIT, 0.3%. So you look at the gamut of the financial sector and look at the pressure it can bring to the financial sector. And if you are not careful, as the finance minister is saying, if we don't find alternatives, it can collapse the financial sector. It can collapse it. So we are in very, very, very difficult situation. And when you look at total debt stock to GDP, it's over 100.39%.
Right.
Huge. How do we bring that down by 2028?